Yo, what is up guys? Lazy Algo here. Welcome to the second episode of the Python Bootcamp. Wow, we have started this bootcamp and the first episode was a success. I would say a lot of people loved it. It was just a bunch of intro stuff, but now we're gonna get into coding. Yeah guys, today we're gonna be doing data types and like simple math operators, nothing too fancy. We're just gonna test the Python waters a bit. We're not gonna go into anything deep. This is just the second episode. Trust me guys, we have a lot of episodes to go into the heavy stuff, so don't worry, we're taking things slow. I'm considering people that like haven't coded before, so like I'm taking things slow, you know, just so it can be conducive for everyone. So yeah, today we're going to be talking and we're going to be actually coding around data types, simple math operators like your addition, subtraction, you know, all that stuff. We'll get into it later, but yeah, that's what's going to happen today. So guys, in my last video about data structures, I mentioned briefly what like fundamental data types are. Yeah, so like things like your integers, your floats, your booleans. Yeah, we're gonna like maybe touch on some of them today, and yeah, like I said, we're not doing anything too fancy today. It's just like so we're still like in the intro episode, so stay tuned. Yeah, so if you guys are excited as I am, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you don't miss any more episodes. Yeah, so let's get into coding. Hey guys, I am back. Okay, I have my OBS up, which I'll be using for the screen recording. So let's get into it. So I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code for this demo. So let's open up Visual Studio Code. You can use any IDE of your choice, anything you feel comfortable with. You can use PyCharm. You can use with Xcode. There's so many IDEs out there that you can use for this demo, but I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code. If you want a video on how to really install and download Visual Studio Code, just let me know. So I'm going to open a new file and I'm going to save it before I start typing anything. Let's just call it demo.py, and I'm going to save that to my desktop. There we go, demo.py. All right, so guys, the first thing I'm gonna talk about is the print statement, because really with learning every new programming language, the first thing you learn is like how to print hello world to the screen. So for Python, it's just as simple as writing print, and then the string you want to print, you pass it into this. So we can say hello world. Let's put an exclamation mark there. For Visual Studio, if you want to run a script, you can use, at this top right here, there's this green arrow that you can just hit and then it runs for you. So if you can see on the terminal, it says hello world printed. Yeah, so really this is the first thing you do when learning a language. I don't know if it's like a thing or ritual. I don't know why people do it, but then it's always hello world. Anyway, so the second thing I actually want to talk about before going into data types is the input statement, right? So it's like a complement to the print statement. So with every programming language, there's a way to output things to a console, which I just did with hello world, by printing it to the console or to the terminal. But also you need to, there has to be a way to kind of like retrieve data from the user, right? Whatever the user enters. So in Python, we use the input function, right? The input function. So here's how it works, right? You type input, and then what goes in this input, it really is like basically it's the question you want to ask or the prompt you want to give the user. So he inputs something. So say the prompt would be, what is your name? What is your name, right? If I run this, the terminal asks what is my name. So if I enter nan, it just terminates, right? So usually what we do with the input statement, we kind of like want to store whatever the user enters in a variable. So I can say name equals input, what is your name, right? So whatever I enter would be stored into name. So variables are basically just like containers that store values, right? So in this case, the container is called name, and the value that it stores is whatever I enter from this input function. So if I run, actually, let's see, if I'm gonna print name down here. So I'm gonna run this again. Let me just clear this. So I'm gonna run this again. What is my name? Nan, right? So remember the last time we didn't save it in anything, but I'm going to actually save it in name and print name. So if I hit enter, it prints Nan back. All right, so that's basically about the input and the print. So we're gonna come back to this input function actually, but in the meantime, let's just talk about some simple math operators, right? So I mean, you've all used a calculator before, right? I mean, you guys are not, I don't even know the word to use, but like you've all used calculators before growing up, and like you see, obviously you're used to the simple math operators: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So we're gonna just go over that briefly because that is nothing new to you guys, right? So if you want, let's call a variable num1 equals 3. Let's call num2 to be equals 7, right? And say we're looking for obviously the sum of num1 and num2, we could just use plus, right? So we can say answer equals num1 plus num2, right? Oh, my bad. I am a terrible programmer. No, I'm not, guys. Maybe I am. I don't know. But anyways, so answer is num1 plus num2. So we're just gonna print answer. Yeah. So if we run this, it should give us 10, right? That's pretty straightforward. Same thing if we have a minus here. It should give us -4, right? Same thing if we have a multiplication. Now with the multiplication, we don't use like an X literally. We use an asterisk, right, for multiplication. Oh, that's my phone ringing, guys. Do you like my ringtone? If you guys can guess where it's from, let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna exit this call and let's actually continue. Yeah, so you have asterisks for multiplication. So if I run this, I have 21, right? So that's 3 times 7. That would be 21. So now I'm gonna come to division. So the thing about division in programming, not really in Python, like it can be like iffy because there are different kinds of division. In Python, we have typically two kinds of division you can do. So you can use the /. This is just kind of like the regular division, you know. And if we have 3 divided by 7, obviously you know we'll get a value less than 1 and a decimal point, so like a floating point number. So if we run this, we get this long floating point number. Yeah, long floating point number. But yeah, we kind of don't need all these decimal points, right? And I'll get to formatting in a sec. But then we also have another kind of division called floor or integer division, where it's actually a double /. And what this does is it actually takes the whole number part of the answer, right? So in this case, it takes this whole number part, which is 0, and that's what we should get, right? So if I run this, I get 0. So let's actually change the numbers so it's kind of so let's make this 65, right? So 65 divided by 7, if we change this back to 1/, we get this, right? 9.285 whatever, right? But remember, if you want the floor division, we just get like 9. So if let's clear this up. So if we use the double strokes, we get 9. Why? Because it's the floor. So when you say floor, it means like the rounded down version of the number, like to the nearest whole number, if that makes sense. Yeah. So that's what the double / is 4. And it's very useful sometimes in certain situations. So yeah, they both have their use cases. All right, cool. So now I'm going to go to the modular operator. The modular operator is kind of like the inverse of what this is. So while this gives us the whole number part of what the answer should be if you use a single /, so the modular operator is a percentage sign, right? So what this does is it gives us the remainder of what you get when you divide num1 by num2, right? So I'm going to run this. Let me clear this again. I'm going to run this, and it gives us 2. What does that mean, right? So if you have 65 divided by 7, what is that, right? That should be 63, right? When you multiply 7 by 9, you get 63. But like we're left with 2, right? 2 is the remainder, and that's what our answer gives us, 2, because 2 is the remainder when you divide 65 by 7. And this modulo is very important. When we get to like problem solving, you see how important this modulo can be. But yeah, so the next thing we're gonna get into is, okay, I forgot to mention the power operator is just double asterisk. So this is, let me just do this for simplicity. So double asterisk means like raised to the power of, right? So what this is saying 2 raised to the power of 7. So if I go ahead and print, it gives me 128, which is 2 to the power of 7. So guys, that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much for tuning in to the part 1 of this episode 2 of the series, guys. Part 2 should be coming sometime next week, hopefully. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the series. Let me know in the description down below if you are. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me. I should be releasing a motivational video sometime, maybe after the part 2 or before then. I'm not sure yet, but anyways, you guys should stay tuned. Click the notification bell if you don't want to miss my next video. Thank you once again. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. Join the Lazy Algo fam. Catch you guys later, and peace.